Welcome, welcome. I am Flabberjane for Fear20, and today is Alfred Hitchcock Day. March 12th, the universally agreed upon day to celebrate Hitchcock's life, work, and legacy. It's also unanimous that March 12th is not Alfred's birthday. You can take your master of suspense in doses agreeable to your attention span or time constraints. Half-hour short stories in Alfred Hitchcock Presents, a little longer portion in the Alfred Hitchcock Hour, or feature-length films in the form of Psycho, Rear Window, and The Birds, among other fabulous fairy tales for adults. On August 13, 1899, Alfred Hitchcock was born at 517 High Road in Leystone, a former part of Essex, now London Borough of Waltham Forest. Alfred's parents were greengrocers and poulterers. They sold fruits and veggies and chicken out of a leased shop and lived in the flat above. Their names were William Edgar Hitchcock and Emma Jane. They were Roman Catholics of English and Irish ancestry. Alfred enjoyed an extended family and summered with his uncle at Cliftonville, Kent, in a seaside house rented for the family's use. Alfred self-described as well-behaved and couldn't remember having any playmates. His father sent him with a note to the police station, who locked him up and told him that's what they do to naughty boys, creating a lifelong fear of the police in young Alfred. Greengrocering in Essex must not have cut the mustard, for the family Hitchcock moved to Limehouse and leased 2 stores to run as a fish and chip shop and a fishmonger's shop. Alfred went to a variety of schools and credits the Jesuits' Grammar School of St. Ignatius College in Stamford Hill for developing his sense of fear through their disciplining style. Alfred claimed they taught him organization, control, and to some degree, analysis. Though Alfred dreamed of being an engineer from an early fascination with geography and trains, his father William's death would derail that. Alfred took on work as a technical clerk for Henley Telegraph and Cable Company. Alfred's studies in night class shifted to art history, painting, economics, and political science. World War I rolled around July 1914, but Alfred wasn't old enough to enlist until 1917, receiving a C3 classification, free from serious organic disease, able to stand service conditions and garrisons at home, only suitable for sedentary work. This didn't stop Alfred from joining a cadet regiment of Royal Engineers and later taking an interest in writing. Alfred would become editor and business manager at Henley's in-house publication, the Henley Telegraph, and later the advertising department in what he called his first steps toward cinema. Alfred had enjoyed film, especially American films. During his tenure with Henley's, Alfred read in a trade paper about famous players Lasky opening a studio in London and sent them some title cards. They hired him, and in 1919 he started at Islington Studios as title card designer. Islington allowed English workers to try the various jobs, regardless of background, but not the American workers. Here, Hitchcock was able to gain experience as co-writer and director and production manager on 18 silent films. His work got him a write-up in the Times February 1922. Paramount, the parent company to Islington Studio, left London in 1922, but Alfred got hired at a new firm in the same location as assistant director. Under Gainsborough Pictures, Alfred worked on Woman to Woman 1923, where he met Alma Reville, his future wife, who was working as editor and script girl. With Graham Cutts, he would also work on The White Shadow 1924, The Passionate Adventure 1924, The Blackguard 1925, and Froude's Fall 1925. The Blackguard was filmed in Germany, where Alfred saw behind the scenes of F.W. Murnau's The Last Laugh, 1924, and adapted some of his techniques. Balcon, the head of Gainsborough, asked Alfred to work on a co-production with another studio. A commercial failure, Balcon liked Hitchcock's work anyways. The critics would agree, with the British Film Institute praising him among other notable types. Alfred hobnobbed around Germany, making connections, and returned to England as an early member of the London Film Society, founded 1925. He met with Russian and English filmmakers and promoted himself. Alfred would come into his own as a name director with the 1927 thriller The Lodger, a story of the London fog, a story about a Jack the Ripper analogue. While Alfred wanted the lead actor to be the villain, the star system that ran from 1920s to 1960 wouldn't allow it. Alfred credited his time abroad for the influence of German expressionism in this film, which also saw his first cameo on screen. After The Lodger, Alfred ran publicity for himself and developed his original sketch of his profile, which he sent to friends as a Christmas present. Alfred married Alma Reville on December 2, 1926, at Brompton Oratory in South Kensington, and they honeymooned in Paris, Lake Como, and St. Moritz. Alma Reville would bear Alfred a daughter and be his closest collaborator. Her input and Alfred's were indivisible, and Alfred would credit her on accepting the AFI Life Achievement Award in 1979. Alma wrote or co-wrote many of Alfred's films. Alfred getting hitched was not the end. Film was only just making the leap to sound as he worked on Blackmail 1929, the first British talkie. Hitchcock developed the habit of using famous landmarks as backdrops to suspense, and glamorous, cold blonde women in his films, known as the Hitchcock Blondes. The 39 Steps, 1935, a film adaptation of a book, was so wildly successful the author, John Buchan, said Hitchcock had improved on his story. The film is also notable for introducing the plot device, the MacGuffin, an invention of screenwriter and Hitchcock collaborator Angus MacPhail. Hitchcock would go on a hot spree of spy novel-to-film adaptations featuring blondes, trains, and mistaken identities. Alfred also took to unusual pranks on the cast and crew, ranging from benign to crazy. Examples include food dyed blue and a horse delivered to a dressing room. Though Alfred had found incredible success, he sensed he was peaking in Britain. He took up an offer to work in the U.S., Hollywood, with a ready-made celebrity status. Alfred finished his contractual obligations in the Old World and came to the New World. Alfred's work in the States, while Britain was at war, resulted in essentially propaganda for the British so long as it avoided direct references to the National Socialists of Germany. See Foreign Correspondent 1940, which was nominated Best Picture. Alfred bought a ranch in Santa Cruz and another home in Bel Air, but kept pumping out movies, even comedies. Hitchcock's mother would die in England at age 79, and 4 months later, his brother died of an overdose. This was Alfred's wake-up call to forsake the fine dining and take better care of himself. Somehow, Alfred thought coffee all day and only a steak and salad for dinner was a good diet, which resulted in weight fluctuations. Homeboy was denied life insurance. Alfred returned to the UK for 2 years and made a few more propaganda films and ran treatment advisor on a film too shocking to show post-war Germany. The full version was released in 2014. Despite Hitchcock and Selznick's differences, they would work Hollywood magic again together on Spellbound 1945 and Notorious 1946. The latter would place Alfred on an FBI watch list for using uranium as a plot device. Selznick felt it was too science fiction only to be met with the reality of nuclear bombs August 1945. Alfred opened Transatlantic Pictures, his own studio, and made his first color film, Rope, 1948, while shooting it in 10-minute shots, as that was the technology's limit at the time. Mixed results saw Alfred switched back to black and white afterward and abandoned long shots. Hitchcock struggled financially, but Warner Brothers Studio footed the production bill as they had for several Hitchcock films, lending him some of their stars even. Alfred's films during this time were Rope, 1948, Under Capricorn, 1949, and later Stage Fright, 1950, at Elstree Studios in England. Following Strangers on a Train, 1951, and Confess, 1953, Alfred did 3 color films: Grace Kelly, Dial M for Murder, from 1954, Rear Window from 1954, and To Catch a Thief, 1955, all adaptations based on books. The years 1954 to 64 are considered Hitchcock's peak. During this span, Alfred Hitchcock Presents, 1955 to 1965, a television series hosted by the British filmmaker, becomes popular. Alfred directed the first 18 episodes, which then became the Alfred Hitchcock Hour in 1962. In the 1980s, a colorized version was produced, reusing the old intros. Anthology series and even a magazine cashed in on Alfred's celebrity. By modern inflated values, he was raking in a cool $1 million USD a year. Hitchcock acquired U.S. citizenship and released To Catch a Thief, another Grace Kelly adaptation, in 1955. It was his last film with Cary Grant and was a commercial success. Alfred remade his earlier film, The Man Who Knew Too Much, which won an Academy Award for Best Original Song, Que Sera Sera. Alfred caught a hernia and gallstones mid-filming his TV show, and went on to film Vertigo 1958. His first choice of actors, Vera Miles, was unavailable and expecting. Alfred would remark, "We'd have spent a heap of dollars on it, and she had the bad taste to get pregnant. I hate pregnant women, because they have children." While Vertigo is considered a classic, it met with mixed reviews, ranging from slow and dull to the greatest ever. It received poor box office returns. Alma Reville, Alfred's wife, was diagnosed with cancer, disrupting the production of North by Northwest 1959, while Alfred himself worked on his TV series, visiting her daily. Alma went to surgery and recovered, but it made Alfred confront his wife's mortality. Alfred would turn out his 3 biggest films yet, North by Northwest, Psycho 1960, and The Birds 1963. North is a spy thriller, Psycho is horror, and The Birds is a natural horror. Psycho is Hitchcock's best-known film and the biggest commercial success of his career. Marnie, 1964, Tom Curtin, 1966, and Topaz, 1969, heralded the end, or at least the downward spiral. For from themes of marital rape to movies imposed on him despite failing health, and behind-the-scenes drama, Family Plot, 1976, would be Hitchcock's last film. Alfred Hitchcock was awarded a knighthood in 1980 and died of kidney failure on April 29, 1980, at his Bel Air home. Hitchcock's remains were cremated and scattered over the Pacific Ocean on May 10th. This has been Flapper Jane for Fear20, the dankest horror community. You can find us on YouTube, BitChute, and visit our Redbubble store for official sketchy merch. Fear20, stop by, get high, and die. Okay, bye.